combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And I've got a Jimmy Rants for you here today, all set to help you out and to answer questions that you may have. JimmyRants.com is the website. If you're brand new to the show, we start off on Instagram and we do a live video there. And so you follow me at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. And then you can watch it on the replay there for 24 hours. We put it on YouTube right after that so that you can watch these on YouTube forever and ever, amen. We also have a Jimmy Rants podcast. All of that, you guys, is at JimmyRants.com. So today's Jimmy Rants episode is all inspired by a comment that I got to one of my other Jimmy Rants on YouTube. And this lady, really nice lady, was like, I think it was the video that I did, the Jimmy Rants episode, all about how measuring success on keto, you should be looking at your health markers and not so much at your weight loss. So her honest question was, what is the secret to weight loss on keto? Because she, like me, has experienced that it's a little more difficult just doing keto and experiencing weight loss. And I guess this gets to the heart of something I want to talk about here today, of why it is so hard for some people to lose weight on keto while other people seem to do fine. So let me start off by saying this. When you shift your body over from being a sugar burner to being a fat burner, that alone, for the first time, and you're a sad diet eater and you go to keto, that alone should help you drop weight, okay? So you're going to lower inflammation pretty darn quick. You're going to dump glycogen stores. You're going to do a lot of positive things in your health when you first start keto. So then the question becomes, okay, you see success, but then over time, perhaps some weight comes back on. What's going on? And so that's when maybe old habits might have slipped in, but not for everybody. Most people that I've talked to where weight starts to come back, they really haven't changed a whole lot about what they're doing in their routine. What they're neglecting, though, is that there's so many things more than just your diet that will impact your weight. So for this lady on YouTube, I'm going to try to help her out and try to maybe see if I see anything in her diet that might be a culprit, but it very well could just be stress. It could just be sleep imbalance. It could be hormonal imbalances. It could be medications. The problem with this issue of weight is there's so many moving parts to it that it's very difficult to nail down. And people want to obsess about it because, again, that's what our culture tells us we're supposed to do. Well, if you go on a diet, you should lose weight. And if you're not losing weight, it means the diet failed. That's so whacked. Can I tell you? That is just incredibly whacked, that there's so many moving parts to this question of what's the metabolism of the person. And I've been mocked by some people online who say, oh, Jimmy keeps talking about he has this broken metabolism. But it's true. You have issues, and you guys know who you are. You've been trying to lose weight for years, and you try different modalities, mostly in your diet. And even within the keto realm, people say, well, if you want to lose weight, you have to drastically cut your fat. Okay, so you drastically cut fat on a diet that is low carb, moderate protein, high fat. How does that work? Now, I get it. If you're overeating calories or you're overeating fat well beyond satiety, yes, you probably should cut back. But what if you're doing just fine in the calories? And what if you're getting all of these great health benefits? This is a big one, guys. What if you're getting incredible benefits in your health markers, and yet you're not seeing weight loss on the scale? Does that mean the health markers are invalid? Does the desire for weight loss supersede the reality of health gains that are happening in your life. And I wonder how much of the obsession about wanting to lose weight is really a personal desire, or if it's just such a cultural thing. And again, people, they want weight loss for aesthetics. And they want to look good, because if you look good on the outside, then people think you're healthy on the inside and everybody's hunky-dory. Well, what if you look on the outside because you have extra weight on your body like you're not healthy on the inside, but you are extremely healthy on the inside? Is that invalid? Is it invalid to say that I have great health markers even though on the outside I don't necessarily, to your eyes, look that way? See, these are all things that I think go into this mentality of people wanting to know how they can find the secret to weight loss on keto. Because, again, it's being billed by a lot of people as just go keto, just eat low carb, moderate protein, high fat, and all of your weight issues and all of your health issues will just magically go away. And I'm here to give you a healthy dose of reality. It's not that way for everybody. It's not. It's just not. Because we all come at this from our own past. I know drinking 16 cans of Coca-Cola a day and eating whole boxes of Little Debbie snack cakes and going to fast food and going to the corner convenience store and getting whatever junk I could buy there. I know all those years that I did that make it much harder for me today. So at least I'm out of that daily mode of junk, and I'm actually paying attention to what I'm doing in my diet and my lifestyle now so that I can preserve health going in the future. But I think we forget about the damage we've done from our past. Some people think, oh, I go keto, next week I should have lost 50 pounds. Next week I should be off of all my medications. Next week my type 2 diabetes should have been cured. I'm hearing all over the internet. That's what happens when you go keto. And I think that's just stupid, honestly. Let's stop doing that to ourselves. Stop putting that onus on keto. I've never heard anybody say, well, I've been on this low-fat diet, and the low-fat diet should have already helped me do this, do that, and do that. No, nobody ever says that. Everybody expects to be miserable on a low-fat diet and to be hungry and to get results in the short term, but in the long term, you gain it all back and then some, and you're even worse off than you were before. That's the legacy of the low-fat diet. But we put the onus on keto and low-carb diets to suddenly be this magic pill for us. And it's going to be hard. And I hope that you're hearing me loud and clear, that if you're one of those people that you've gone keto and you've seen great improvements in your health markers, but your weight's still hanging around, is that a bad thing? I don't know. That's up to you. I've said this before. You can lop off your leg and lose weight. But will you feel better? Is that what's going to make you feel better? To me, the much more interesting marker in my health are all those blood markers that show great metabolic things are happening. The weight, as frustrating as it can be, and trust me, I'm right there with you guys that deal with this. The weight, as frustrating as it can be, is a lot less relevant than all those blood markers. So what could you do? You could starve yourself, I guess. You could go without eating for a period of time. I think fasting, not starving yourself, those two different things. But I think fasting could be an effective way for somebody who's struggling to lose weight on keto. Perhaps cycling in a few days worth of fasting every couple of weeks or so might not be a bad idea. Do a 3-day fast every couple of weeks to go along with your ketogenic diet. That may help with weight loss on keto. Definitely de-stress. This is something I've tried to emphasize in my own life, is to de-stress. I have all kind of little tools and things at my house that I use now to try to de-stress. I get offline at certain times of the day. I do things proactively trying to reduce stress. So that's a biggie. If you've got hormonal imbalances, you got to figure those things out. If your mainstream doctor isn't running panels to see how your hormones are doing, you got to find a functional medicine doctor or some educated doctor who can assist you with that. And sleep, you need to prioritize your sleep. If you're not sleeping well, I use a ring. I'm currently charging it, so it's not on my finger. But I use this ring that lets me track how my sleep is doing. And if you dial in your sleep, that'll put your body in the best possible shape for getting good sleep, which would then make you metabolically healthy. So if you're just joining us on this Jimmy Rants, we're talking about what's the secret to weight loss on keto, because that's a question someone asked me in a YouTube comment to one of my Jimmy Rants. And why is it so hard for some? And the great conclusion I want to have here is, if you're struggling in your weight and you're doing everything right in your keto and you're trying to dial in all of these lifestyle issues, can I just encourage you to just keep going? Keep going. Don't give up. Keep learning. That's one thing that I have embraced in this whole process is I'm still learning things. I know a lot of things. I know the way that keto is supposed to be helping with fat loss. But for some of us, there's going to be a little bit of struggle. And you got to be okay with that. You got to let your mind relax in the process. Because if you get too hung up on it, then that adds more stress to your diet, to your day, and you don't need that if you're trying to shed pounds. So be encouraged and know that you are not alone. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, hello. Oh, I see my Keto Hacking podcast co-host, Dr. Lemansky, just said hello. I think this is your first Jimmy Rants, John. Thanks for being here. All right, good morning from Arkansas. Hello, Joette. Thanks for being here. It was always suggested to me when I stall and have lost weight to check my macros and possibly recalibrate. Shearston, that is a great point. And that is the first thing I look at when someone says that they've stalled or they're not losing weight. I always say, well, send me your menus. Let's take a look at what you're doing in your diet, because you always want to see if the diet is clean and everything's good there. If it is, then you start looking at some of the lifestyle things. But you're right. That is the first thing you need to look at is, have you allowed old habits to slip in? Maybe you think you're doing keto, but you're not actually doing keto. So yeah, great point. Hello, Keto Naughty. Thanks for being here. I stall for 3 to 4 weeks, Ume says. So Ume, so that's where I wouldn't worry about it. 3 to 4 weeks is not a big deal. If it happens 3 to 4 months, then maybe it's a little more on the radar screen, but 3 to 4 weeks, your body might just be adjusting, so I wouldn't worry about it. Nini's Keto Kitchen says, it's funny, people are only now noticing that I'm losing weight 35 pounds later, and I've eventually stopped obsessing. So Nini, little secret, when I lost my initial weight, I was 410 pounds when I started. Nobody noticed till I lost 100 pounds. 100 pounds. I was like, are you people blind? Can you not tell I've lost a significant amount of weight? But it was pretty funny. Keto Naughty says it's so frustrating. Yeah, it can be. But I want people to relax. And I understand we have this innate angst within us to want to lose weight. Again, I think we've been propagandized and conditioned to want to care about our weight. I think caring about what your weight is the equivalent of caring about what your total cholesterol is. They mean a little bit of something, but they don't mean quite what we think they mean. And so hopefully what I've been talking about in my work and with the Jimmy Rants, where we're looking at various health markers, those are much more important in the grand scheme of things. And if you get those in order and they all are in line, then weight loss should follow. But there's so many moving parts to this discussion. Sherry Smile says, my doctor sees good health markers in me, but says my BMI is also a health marker and mine is still in the overweight category. Yeah, they like to use BMI. Unfortunately, BMI is highly, highly flawed, and I'm not a big fan of that. Maybe waist to hip ratio is a better measurement than BMI, but even that can be a little bit out of whack in some people. But I would think you hold on tight to those health markers that are really good, and congratulations to you for having those. Calamity Tam 68, I've been overweight since I was a child. None of my family were. I feel it is also something genetic, maybe. Yeah, Calamity, a lot of people, they throw that, well, all my family's fat, so I must be fat. So that's genetic for sure, but I think there's this thing called epigenetics that might play a bigger role, which is where the genes can be expressed in a different way based on your diet and lifestyle choices. So I wouldn't always blame this on genes. Obviously, genes can play a role. I know my mama passed on some really bad genes to me because she struggled with her weight her whole life. In fact, when she had me, she was over 300 pounds. And it ended up having to be a cesarean section because I was almost 11 pounds as a baby coming out of her. And so I never got like a vaginal birth, so I didn't get the gut health stuff passed on to me. I think I was doomed for insulin resistance from the start. But that doesn't mean that because you didn't come into the world under the best auspices that you should give up, and that, well, I'm going to be fat anyway, I might as well just eat whatever I want and be happy. I say that you can be as healthy as you can possibly be, regardless of where you came from, regardless of your genetics, regardless of how bad the situation might seem. You can be as healthy as you could possibly be, and I think we should all be pursuing that. It's really more of a dance. When the time changes, you mix up your moves, including intermittent fasting and others as tools. Shearston, yes. And Shearston only just started, I think you just started fasting for the first time earlier this year when I was doing some live videos all about fasting. So that switch can happen fast, and those modalities can help you. Just keep going back to them. I think the part of the issue is you can get into a habit of doing those, but then fall out of the habit again, and then you don't pick them back up again. Yeah, so there it is. Calamity Tam 68, I can remember being so hungry on low fat, even after meals. Keto now controls that. And to me, that is a huge benefit that you get from keto that you're just not getting from any other way of eating. Even if your weight loss isn't happening, you're getting that benefit. And the ability to go many, many hours between meals, to me, is a sign of robust metabolic health. Sleep is so important. Keto Naughty, I have tried to put a greater priority on my sleep, a greater priority on de-stressing, and doing all of these lifestyle things to correlate and coincide with my ketogenic eating. And I'm hopeful that doing all of those things is not just going to help me lose weight, but also going to continue those health markers. I'm getting around the age when people in my family that have been males started having heart attacks and started having issues in their health. I want to ward that off before it happens. Nini's Keto Kitchen, people need to start saying no to people so they can relieve stress. It doesn't make you a bad person to look after yourself. Agreed. And I think a lot of people, they feel like they're letting people down if they don't say yes to everything. Plus, a lot of stress is self-inflicted. So if you're struggling in your weight, even eating keto, I really, really hope you take a hard look in the mirror and think, okay, what am I doing in my life to contribute to possibly more stress that could be sabotaging me? You've got to remember, and you've got to think of it this way. When you are stressed, it's the same thing as eating desserts. And you turn stressed backwards. I want you to do this in your mind's eye right now. In fact, write it down. Write down the word stressed. Spell it backwards. It spells desserts. And you've got to look at being stressed as the same as eating desserts. And if you do, then you realize you would never purposely eat desserts on your ketogenic lifestyle, and yet people eat the backwards desserts every single day by being stressed. So don't let your body get stressed. Joshua Winslow, thanks for the rant today. When I feel like I'm stalling, it's easy to keep going knowing my blood pressure dropped. I no longer have sleep apnea, plus all the other benefits I have yet to find out. Exactly, Joshua. And you're a living example of, even though there's no weight loss, even though everybody in the world says your health is your weight, even though you have no weight loss, you don't have sleep apnea anymore. And you've been able to improve so many aspects of your life and will continue to improve. I'm amazed the longer I've done this, I'm amazed at all the new things that I find out that, oh my gosh, there's another sign that this is doing really good things for my body. There's no secret. Just don't give up, one day at a time. Make keto for your body, Somebody else's keto is not your keto. Keto naughty, those are wise words, and I agree. If you're in the game, if you're playing the game, if you're remaining loyal, even though seemingly keto isn't, quote, working for you because the weight's still a struggle, if you're still in the game and still doing it, and in my case, guys, you have no idea the amount of hate that I get pretty much on a daily basis across all my platforms. Even on YouTube, I had 6 comments yesterday I had to just block. And that stuff just comes at you because when you don't look the way people think you should look as a keto advocate, then they come after you. And they say some of the most vile, ugly, stupid things in the world. But chin up, you got to keep your head down and keep going. Because I know at the end of the day, this is making me healthier. And if I weren't eating keto, and I've said this before, and I believe it wholeheartedly, if I was not eating keto right now, I would be dead. It's sobering to say it that way, but I honestly believe that because this diet saved my life, because it saved my health. And if it means I have to have a little bit of extra body fat in the middle of my body, so be it. That's just the way it is. I'm here. I'm sharing information that's helping people. I have a voice, and I want you to be encouraged by that you're not alone. I mean, I've written a lot of books on keto and been very successful at what I'm doing, but even I still have to fight this mantra that your weight is your health every single day. And so obsessing about weight loss and wanting to have it happen simply for appeasing those people, sorry, I have no time for that anymore. It's all about health for me, because it's harder for people like me and some of you guys as well. You hold on to those things that you know keto's doing for you. I appreciate that my ongoing challenges drive me to read and learn more. Lilla Grand, that's a great point too, that when you're still struggling, you hadn't figured everything out yet, quote unquote, it makes you want to learn more. It makes you want to become and keep being a student. I encourage people to do that anyway, whether you have continued weight issues or not. But I think at the end of the day, we're all in this journey together, and you should always be a student. It's one thing I've loved about working with Dr. John Lemansky, for example, on our Keto Hacking MD podcast. We've got a book coming out next year called Keto Plus, which is going to talk about, okay, keto is the starting point for everybody to start the metabolic health improvements happening. But what do you add to keto? For those of us who struggle with the weight loss on keto, what are some other things you can add, like infrared sauna and ice therapy and HIIT training and sleep optimization and stress control and all of these things that matter a whole lot. And so that's something that I hope you never lose that regardless of what your weight is. Chronometer helped me when my weight loss stalled. Excellent. Yeah, so Chronometer is a way to track your food, and it not only gives you the macronutrients and the calories and all that stuff, it also looks at micronutrients to make sure you're getting all the adequate nutrition that your body needs. Calamity Tam 68, I wish I could just see food as fuel. Keto controls that hunger and abnormal thoughts of food for comfort. Yeah, and when I was a part of the paleo world, they had a bad habit of saying that, well, food's just fuel. I'm sorry, no, food is not just fuel. Food is enjoyment. Food is a lot of things. You mean to tell me that you can eat bacon and not have enjoyment out of that food? Come on. And last night I made the biscuit recipe from the Southern Keto cookbook by Tasha Newton. And I made, Christine and I, some bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for dinner last night. I didn't just see that as fuel, guys. That was really, really delicious tasting food. And I think it's a good thing if you have problems with food and it overtaking you and all of your feelings about it, to just look at it as fuel. But let's be honest, guys. Food is more than just fuel. Food is for enjoyment. Food is for the camaraderie that you have with other people. Food has more roles in it than just fuel. Now, if it helps you to just call it fuel, that's great, but it's more than that. Keto Journey by George. Hi, George. I keep focused on why I'm doing keto. 18 months, one day at a time, sweet Jesus. Keeping it simple and doable. Always be learning and remember your progress. Wise words from someone who has been there, done that, and living this. Hello, Dory. Thanks for being here. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for the encouragement. It was needed today. Thank you, Sherry. What do you say about fasting? Is it a good practice? You guys want to tell Ume whether I think fasting is a good practice or not? Ume, I wrote a book about fasting called The Complete Guide to Fasting. Go check it out. And yes, it is a great supplemental for keto and any diet for that matter. That's right, Keto Naughty. Because of keto, I'm no longer on blood pressure medications. Excellent, Betsy. That's awesome. Oh yeah, I have my haters, guys. It is what it is. Keto Naughty says, I've never been overweight, and I feel like people don't take me legitimately because I don't have awesome before and after pics. I do keto for health, not for weight loss, and it's frustrating that people think I'm not legit. Well, I think, and let me give my wife Christine as an example. The girl has never been overweight in her life. Not once. In fact, she was underweight at one point. When I met Christine, my wife, she was 90 pounds. And of course, because of her thinness, even she was convinced, well, I'm thin, therefore I'm healthy. And on the inside, if you've read my new book, Real Food Keto, the introduction, it tells her whole health journey. On the inside, she was anything but healthy. And it didn't manifest as weight on the outside. So she was guarded against it being a negative stigma for her for a very long time before she started hearing me talk to various people. And we started, running tests. And then we discovered all of these issues, 3 autoimmune conditions and gallbladder issues and on and on and on and on and on. And she thought she was healthy. And so, no, I think people like you are amazing, Keto Naughty, because you're the ones that are showing that it's not just a weight thing. It's a health thing. And this is why I'm not a fan of looking at weight loss as a grand measurement on your keto. Again, this YouTube commenter, they wanted to know what the secret was to weight loss on keto because they hear me talking about health gains. But this is why I talk about health gains, is because that to me is what is the real deal when it comes to keto. You're inspiring the crap you have to fight. You're still positive. Amazing. Thank you, Shearston. I've done this so long now that I guess I compartmentalize that, okay, I see it, but I put it to the side. And I'm also hiring people around me to help shield me from some of that stuff. So I just hired a social media guy who's going to help, block their butts when they start being ugly like that. So, yeah, it's tough, but you just deal with it. I guess it comes with the territory of internet fame. Let's see. Is there a keto-friendly doc you would recommend? So, David Zucker, I actually have a website of all the ketogenic doctors that I know. Ketogenicdocs.com. Ketogenicdocs.com. Go check it out. I'm a fine dining chef. Food is literally my life. Kay Borwick. So, yeah, just work around it if it's tempting. Christine's story is very moving. Listening to the audiobook today, Lilligran. Thank you, Lilligran. Yes, the Real Food Keto, by the way, audiobook is now available on Amazon and Audible. So if you've been waiting on that, it's now available, realfoodketo.com. is the website if you want to find out more. But guys, that's the Jimmy Rants. What's the secret to weight loss on keto, and why is it so hard for some? You got to be okay up here that weight loss isn't the be-all, end-all for some people. Yes, you've been told you got to lose weight. Yes, you've been told your weight is your health. Hopefully by now, after this very long rant here today, you realize that's a lie from the pit of hell. It really is. And I want people to embrace this. I want that commenter on YouTube to realize that it's so much more than your weight. And if your weight is a struggle for you, and yet all of your health markers are really, really good, please do this for yourself. Embrace the good that's happening. Because if you forget about the good and you neglect the good because this one thing, your weight, isn't cooperating the way you want it to, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get frustrated. You're going to give up on keto. And then even all that good that has happened to you will be taken away. Do you want that? That's called self-sabotage in my eyes. Embrace what you do have, and then still be actively working on the ways that you can improve your health even more, which in the end, hopefully will produce weight loss. All right, guys, that's it for this Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. And as always, we start over on Instagram Live at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. And you can engage with me on these live videos. Very good discussion down there with all you guys today. So thanks for being here. You can also watch it on the replay for up to 24 hours. Then we pop it over onto YouTube, where we have all of these housed forever and ever. And then we have the all new Jimmy Rants podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all of the usual suspects where you can listen to podcasts. Again, all of this is at jimmyrants.com. That's it, guys. We'll see you again real soon. Bye.